Season 1 of the Proud Family reboot was interesting, to say the least.
If it wasn't for Tony,
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm coming back with another Proud Family video, and this is going to be basically a recap of the whole series. Episode 10, which was the final episode of season 1, just dropped yesterday, right? So this is basically an overview of the whole series. And basically, really, episodes 3 through 10, because I released my review of the first 2 episodes when they first debuted back in February. So if you want to look at my in-depth review of the first 2 episodes, you can check it out up here. But this is going to be an overview of the whole series, my thoughts, my likes, my dislikes, and just my overall thoughts for this season 1 of the Proud Family reboot, which we all anticipated, we all been waiting for. And you know, I've been participating in discussions about it and everything like that. And this is just my opinions, and I want to know y'all's too. And it's just been announced that the Proud Family reboot got picked up for a season 2. So congratulations to the animators, the writers, the producers, the voice actors, everybody. Congratulations to everybody on the show. Before I begin, I want to thank the Proud Family team for sending me this. They sent me, you know, I entered the sweepstakes, right? And they sent me one of these, like, you know, gift boxes. You know, this is penny on the front. It's like a graffiti. Look at the sides. Look at this. So thank you to the Proud Family team. And you open it up. Let's see. You got, look at this. It's a nice design. Proud Family. You got the Proud Snacks, popcorn, and some cookies, which were really good, by the way. Like, anybody from the Proud Family team, where y'all got these cookies from? These was good. This was good. And you got some playing cards. That was a gift card that just fell. Hold on. Gift card. Thank you for that. They got some. Oh, one of them are missing. But you know, this is the Dijonay one. But this is Penny, La Cienega, Zoe, and Dijonay. They had like salsa waters. That was fun. And you know, it's like a little informational thing. But yeah. So thank you to the Proud Family team for sending me this, because yeah, this was dope. Now, jumping into my overall review, before I get into each episode, you know, 3 through 10, and giving my opinion on it, my quick opinion on it, here's what I gotta say, my likes and dislikes, right? Now, my likes, right? I really love the animation, the flow of the animation. I love the different storylines, and I love how, you know, they introduce new characters, and even, you know, the celeb guests. I love how sometimes, even though their role might not have been big, their roles still played a great part in the script and the storyline. I love how relevant and up with the times they kept it with, like, the certain lingo and language, and you know, they had certain memes. Certain memes I got right away. Certain memes I was like, I had to look it up and be like, oh, that's what that was. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they didn't, but most of the time they did hit. And it's just, I love the character designs, I love the different outfits, I love the concepts, I love just the animation, the fluidity of the animation. Now, some episodes, you could tell they used different studios, because it was like, I'm one of those people, like, with animation, I pay attention to it, especially with the original, right? Certain episodes, you could tell the animation was a little different, but it didn't really bother me like that. And I just really enjoyed myself. And I love the musical choices that were made. 8 out of 10 was perfect. And surprise, I love this different surprises. Like, certain things we saw in the trailer, certain things were announced, but certain things you had to watch the episode to find out, like, okay, who voiced this character, or what song was going to play, or what meme was going to be used, or what kind of pop culture reference was they going to use. And I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Things like that. I just love the overall fluidity of the show for the most part, because I'm going to get into some things that were like, but overall, I would give this series an 8 out of 10 when I really think about it. But I do have my problems or my critiques with this show, and we want to talk about it right now. So, the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. That's the new title, the Louder and Prouder part. Oscar is definitely the louder part in this, because it's just like, was it me? I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, and I get it, this is a cartoon, it's supposed to be loud and animated, and you know, it's supposed to be those wacky cartoony episodes, and you know, it's supposed to grab your attention. But Oscar was the louder part for the title because I feel like every episode they had Tommy Davidson screaming into the mic and Trudy and bouncing up and down and doing craziness. And I get it, that was his character. But I feel like in the original series, he did that, but it was more toned down. It made more sense. This one, it was just random and it was just like he was just bouncing off the walls and it was just so.
Oh my God.
Like I said, I don't know if it's because I'm older and this is a cartoon, so it's towards kids and capturing their attention, but sometimes it was a little overboard, like the screaming and the loudness and the sporadicness of it all. How sporadic they had Oscar being, it was like, calm it down a little bit, just calm it down a little bit, like damn, And getting to Trudy, I feel like Trudy was sidelined. Like in the original, I get it. It was only 10 episodes. So maybe in season 2, they're going to give her more to do, right? But I feel like Trudy was such an interesting character. Not only was she like the attractive mother character that, she had like the attractive animation thing going on, right? But I feel like she had different mood swings and she had interesting storylines in the original where it focused on her and like how she could be the nurturing mother, but she could also be the overprotective mother, but she's always like the voice of reason, but she can get jealous too. Like she had different things to her character in the original. And this one, I feel like they sidelined her. Even she had the pet ambulance, they didn't really do nothing with that. They showed a little bit of it in one episode and that was it. How dope would it have been to have an episode geared around her pet ambulance and something like that? Y'all know what I'm saying? So it's just like they really sidelined her. It's like I feel like they even forgot about her in certain episodes and they're like, oh wait, Trudy. They gave her like 3 or 5 lines and that was it. I'm just like, Trudy is an interesting character. They should have did way more with her character. Way more. It's way more they could have did with Trudy. Besides just having her say little 2 lines here and there and just like, all right. And that's another thing I want to talk about. With these episodes, all of these episodes, I feel like they were so Penny and Oscar based. Now I get it. Penny is the protagonist, the Proud Family, but I feel like every episode was 6 to 7 out of the 10 episodes was all Penny and Oscar, Penny and Oscar, Penny and Oscar. Like it was all about them. They had most of the screen time. I'm like, I get it, but I would have loved to see more storylines with La Cienega, Zoe, Dejanay, Michael. Let me get to that too. They gave him a glow up. They gave him more to do than he did in the original because he's a definite part of the friend group. He replaced Sticky in a way. But they kind of played into that stereotype of him being like the gay, sassy friend that just like, oh yeah, girl, that type of thing. Like they could have gave him more too. They could have gave him his own episode where it's like, because you remember the original, his father had a hard time accepting him being gay, I guess, right? So they could have gave him an episode where it's like, oh, Louder and Prouder. The Prouder part could have been an episode where Michael's father really comes to accept him for who he is, because he's like ashamed of him. In the original, he was ashamed of him and he didn't want him to call him dad in public, or he was calling him coach in public because he was like flamboyant and all of that. So they could have definitely did more with Michael's character and story and plot to where it could have been something where it's like, oh, his father has to learn to accept him for who he is. That would have been dope. Maybe in season 2 they got something coming up. Maybe they got something brewing up for season 2, but they could have did more with Michael's character too. Also, going back to what I loved, didn't y'all love it when in episode 5, Snackland, BB and CC were talking? BB was like, that was CC, and then CC was like, and he was like, you know, to your diaper. Like, oh, I love that. I kept rewinding that part over and over again. And then at the park, they was in the park, he was like, okay, Snack Master. Like, that, I don't know why they didn't utilize BB and CC more. Having them talk in every episode would have definitely added to that spark and that magic and that funness of the episode. Seeing BB, because in the original they were just little babies, they did a little wah wah, and the most they did was cry and make baby noises, whatever, right? But hearing them talk, having them talk in each episode would have definitely added to each episode. It would have just been fun, because I tell you, I rewinded that part so many times when they first started talking words. I was like, wow, I love this. So they definitely should have BB and CC talk more often. If not every episode, more, because in this season they only talk like in 2 episodes. They should definitely have BB and CC talk if not in every episode, at least 6 to 7 out of 10. Even if it's like little 2, 3 lines here and there. BB and CC should be given more to do. And I wouldn't mind a storyline with them. You know, something. All the stuff they did with Puff the dog, I wouldn't mind an episode like that too. But now they can talk and communicate better. Perfect. And if I'm not mistaken, reading up on it, they had a little boy with autism play BB's character because apparently BB is supposed to be in like the autism spectrum. So a storyline about that would be very interesting. I'm just saying, who knows what they're doing for season 2, but that will be really interesting. Let's see what happens. And another thing, the Grow Sisters. It's time for the Grow Sisters to glow up. Now, throughout the series with Zoe and Lacianica's cousin and all that, they kept saying, even in the first episode where they all went through puberty and they saw how each other looked, they kept saying about glow up, glow up, glow up. A real glow up will be the Grow Sisters. Aren't y'all tired of them being blue? I get it, that's part of the character, and the blueness is supposed to be them being ashy. But you think about it, even in the original, when the big one, Olay, she got the makeover, she was still blue. And it's just like, sometimes it takes me out of the world because I'm like, y'all don't know, y'all remember the show Doug with all the characters with different colors, purple, green, yellow, and orange? That's like, it's time for the Grow Sisters to glow up so we can see what is the actual skin tone, how would they look when they're not ashy. You know, an episode about the Grow Sisters glowing up and, you know, seeing how they look without the blueness would be dope. Really. I don't know if they already started. I know they did start production. I don't know if all the episodes are already done or they already wrote the stuff, whatever. But yeah, glowing up, the Grow Sisters. Come on. And then another thing with the season 1, all these episodes is like the writing. The writing was a little shaky. It was a little inconsistent. And I get it. This is not an episodic show where like every episode is supposed to follow the last one. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. But it's like even the characters, they had them like doing different things. It's like, okay, in this episode she's like this, and then in this episode she's like that. Or you like her in this episode, but then you don't like her in that episode. Like the writing was a little shaky, a little consistent, and I feel like in certain episodes the writing could have been a little stronger. And when I do the breakdowns for each episode in a few seconds or a few minutes, however long this video is, I'm gonna let y'all know what I mean, and y'all let me know what y'all think down below, because it's like the writing was pretty good, but it could have been better. And I'm gonna let y'all know for certain episodes what I mean. It's time for them to give Dejanay's character more depth. Get it? She was like the snitch character. She had her moments where she was a friend and she was like sympathetic, but they still have her being like the ratchet sidekick friend type thing that gets everybody's in trouble. If she's not getting people in trouble, she's ratting people out, or you know what I'm saying? Like, they could do more with her character. And like, I remember reading this on BuzzFeed. Wasn't Dejanay supposed to be on a debate team or something like that? Like, yeah, give Dejanay's character more depth, because it's like, even with the criticism of, you know, the colorism and how she's like portraying the stereotype of the ghetto ratchet friend, this didn't really take away from that. It just only enhanced that a little bit to me. So they could definitely give Dejanay more to do in this second season. Give her her own storyline. Give her her own episode. You know, take it in a different direction. And, you know, give her something different with Dejanay. Because she was funny, she was entertaining, but it's time to step it up with her character and her character arc, you know? Overall, like, my last critique would be, this is more like a, it's not like a big thing, but it is. I feel like, why are they still in middle school? Like, in the second to last episode, Lacianica turned 15. When I was 15, I was in high school. The whole thing about them still being in middle school, it's like, to me, the puberty and all that, it would make sense if they were in high school and give them more to do, more storylines. Like, middle school, I'm like, for the first season, for the first original series, I get it. But now, this is the reboot, this is a glow up, they went through puberty, they should be in a first, if not second year high school. So for the, you know, the creators keep saying, oh, they're in middle school, blah, blah. It would make more sense if they was in high school. Point blank period. Like, I don't know what type of timeline they on, but like I said, when I was 15, 14, I was in high school, not middle school. So yeah, that's another thing they could change or like incorporate better. Like, this is just from like a, I get it's a cartoon, but like have to have some realism in it. It would make more sense if they were in high school. I'm just saying. And now I'm going to get into a breakdown of episodes 3 through 10. Like I said, the first two I already did a review about. I left it up there for y'all. I'm going to leave it in the description too so y'all can see that. But this is going to be my quick reviews of episodes 3 through 10. And just to help me out, I got it here on the Disney Plus app. I'm about to go through them and see the different ones and give my quick opinions on it, like what I liked, what I didn't like. And at the end, I'm going to tell y'all my favorite episodes, and we're going to talk about it from there. Okay, starting with episode 3, it all started with an orange basketball.
I told you, Penny, no dating before you're married.
Now, this was an episode that introduced Penny's boyfriend, Kareem. For the most part, I liked this episode. It wasn't one of the episodes I kept rewatching, but I did like this episode. Basically about Oscar trying to get Penny to like play the basketball so he could win against was it Kelly, and then she had to balance doing what she didn't want to do just to help the father with playing basketball, and then balancing her social life, her romantic life with Kareem, and balancing all that out. And then Lacianica was trying to like steal him from her. So it was like a lot of that going on, and it had a clear and concise message. It wasn't one of my favorite episodes, but I did enjoy seeing Penny start a new romantic thing. And I like Kareem too, because he was proof that even though he's tall, you don't gotta play into stereotypes. He liked to play one of those, I forgot, it's the cello or the bass, one of those instruments. He liked to play one of those instruments, the violin, I forgot what it's called, but he liked to play that, the cello, I think, right? I don't know, but y'all know what I'm talking about. He liked to play one of those instruments. Strong episode, but something about it was missing to where it's like I felt like it could have been a little stronger. Now we get into episode 4, father figures. This is one of my favorite episodes.
Come on, Daddy.
This is where you got to see Maya and KG and the relationship between them and the two dads. And it was really interesting to me. And like you get to see Oscar's prejudice towards them and how he was ignorant in the beginning and how he had to be more open-minded and everything. And I'm just like, I really enjoyed the episode. And my favorite part of the episode, at the end, when they danced to September and everybody was dancing, and I was like, hey, I loved that episode. It goes to show that not everybody cared that they had two dads. It was just like, okay, they got two dads. Okay, but it wasn't a big deal to everybody. To some people, it was like, some people was like, okay. And some people was like, okay, it is what it is. They got two dads. So what? And that's just the attitude that mirrors how society is now. If something like that happened, or you go to school, or if that was to happen at school, you found out, oh, one of your classmates have two fathers. Some people, most people, I think, would be like, okay. And other people would be like, that's weird. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And this is definitely a part of the prouder part of the title, and I loved it. That dance scene in the end, though, when they danced to September, I loved it. Getting into episode 5, which was Snackland, which featured Lizzo. I got a lot to say about this. Episode. Now, this is about when we first got to hear BB and CC talk. I loved it. And Oscar opened up his amusement park and all of that, but I feel like they could have done more with that. I feel like Oscar opened up his amusement park. He had the success with it, but then you didn't really hear about it no more until like, oh, Lacianica got caught on one of the rides in her quinceañera episode. And I'm just like, why didn't they show Oscar being more of a businessman and being more successful? Like, I feel like Oscar, that's another thing. Oscar was too much of the butt of the jokes. Like, I get it. He's the wild, crazy father, overprotective father, and he was supposed to be the butt of the jokes, but they could have gave him some more to do in a sense of like him being successful, him being a great father, a loving father. They did have that here and there, but they spent so much time like shitting on him as a character that they didn't really get to show like the positives to his character. You know what I mean? But yeah, this was a fun episode, and I liked how they had Lizzo come in and give Penny like that inspiration and that confidence. But my gripe with this episode is how they had Penny with the tone loc voice, with the I'm cuter than you, get what they were trying to do. And this was one of the surprises of the season. But I really did not like that. Like, I gotta be honest. In the end, when they finally performed, I can't lie, I was singing that song to myself, cuter than you, or whatever, right? But my thing is, LPDZ was one of the main favorites from the original series. How Penny and her friends started the singing group, they had little catchy songs. So for them to go and change that, okay, Penny going through puberty and da da da. But I'm like, why would they do that? Like the whole deep voice, it was so unrealistic that I was like, come on now. LPDZ was one of my favorite things from the original, and they messed it up. And Penny had the cute lead singing voice, but for her to be like, basically, she wasn't even singing, she's like a rapper. I'm like, that messed up the dynamic of the LPDZ group. And like I said, in the end, I ended up liking the song, but they could have had it to where, here's my thing. Okay, she discovered she had that voice, it changed a little bit. They could have had Lizzo, who's a singer about confidence, da da da. They could have had her come in and help Penny find her original singing voice. Or she got that new voice, but it could have been a thing where she found a stronger singing voice than the original one she had. Something like that, you know? For them to keep that deep voice, I'm cuter than you. It was like, it took me out of the episode. It did. It did. Even, that's one of the episodes I watched with my mother, and she was like, why they do that? Like, I get it, it's supposed to be like to shock value, but LPDZ was one of my favorite things for the group. They could have kept her original voice or did something to where she found the cute singing voice again, because it's like, that's one of my favorite things, LPDZ, and they just messed it up with that deep voice thing. And like, I get it, I get what they were going for, but it didn't really connect with me, and it took me out of the episode. But overall, I love that episode. Besides that, and I just love the whole Snackland theme park. And going back to it, that's another thing. Remember, like I said, the writing is inconsistent. In the first episode, Michael made a Freddie Mercury joke, right? Freddie Mercury from Queen with the mustache. They all laugh, hinting that they knew who Freddie Mercury was. But, you know, Penny being a black teenager in this time period with black parents, Trudy and Oscar, every time they mentioned like a black artist from like the 70s and 80s, Penny was like, who is that? Who is that? They did it with Prince. They did it with Barry White. And then even Tone Loc. You know, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know who Tone Loc was, but Prince and Barry White, she was like, who is that? But then when Michael made a Freddie Mercury joke, she laughed, hinting that she knew who he was. So that's just, I mean, that's when I say, like, when I say that, that's what I mean when I say that the writing was inconsistent. Like, she knew who Freddie Mercury was, but she didn't know who Prince and Barry White was. Come on. Like come on. We have episode 6, Get In. I enjoyed this episode for the fact that this episode didn't have no message. It wasn't like no hard driven home message that was like, oh, this is the lesson you're supposed to take away. This is just one of those cartoony, fun episodes that was just fun to watch. You didn't have to take no lesson from it. It was just a fun episode, a fun element to it that was like, it was cool to watch. And this is one of the episodes I rewatched over and over again because I just like the funness of it. And it had its things with it, and like Uncle Bobby got to do his thing with the nachos and the crab barrel, which was like a parody of like Shark Tank. And I just overall enjoyed this episode. Now in the end, I feel like they did rush things a little bit. Like Oscar went to jail and this and that. Did her company just plummeted and all this? Like, I get it. They only got like 20 something minutes of like runtime, but they need to learn how to like make it more concise and make it more structural. Because even the original series, there was episodes that had a lot they had to get through, but they knew how to wrap the episode up in a way that felt satisfactory. You've satisfied. Some of these episodes, I was left unsatisfied, and when the credits came up, I was like, that's it? You know? So this is one of those episodes where I'm like, I enjoyed it for what it was, but they could have wrapped it up a little better. Episode 7, When You Wish Upon a Roker, which they introduce Al Roker once again. He's a magical genie, and he grants Penny this wish because, you know, in the beginning, Oscar's being crazy and loud, like I talked about in the beginning, which gets annoying after a while. Even to children, I feel like that would get annoying. But I get it. It was like they was at the little parody of Hamilton, and he was acting crazy, and Penny got mad and embarrassed, so she wished that she was in college. But then, being that I went to college, graduated with my bachelor's in media studies, Let me stop, but really, I did. I know about the college life, the college experience, balancing school with your social life and your family life and work life, and doing all of that together. So I would say this episode, like I said, they only had a certain amount of time. This was a quick representation of it, and I feel like they got it pretty well within the time that they had allotted. They got like that work party life balance pretty well. But I enjoyed that we got to see them older as college students, and we got to see that dynamic of them, like what would they do when they were older and everything. You know what I'm saying? I like that we got to see them older, but something about this episode was missing to me. Like, I enjoyed the fact that we got to see them older, but I feel like this was one of those episodes that were kind of rushed, and then they had everybody turn against Penny. Like, at first she was all about studying, and then she became the party type. That was to the point where, like, all the rest of them was just like, oh, I want to go back, and they just left her in the dust. Then the whole thing with Oscar coming in to save her with the basketball, like, I liked it, but then I didn't like it too much, and it wasn't my favorite. Like, it's one of those, like, 50-50 for me. Like, I liked it for what it was, but I felt like certain elements, they could have took out certain elements they could have added to make the episode better. But I did enjoy seeing them older. And then they had Zoe with the whole, she took off her glasses and she had the longer hair, and the whole, oh, take off your glasses and then you become cuter trope. That's played out. Like, just because you wear glasses don't mean that you're ugly or unattractive. Like, taking off your glasses doesn't mean like, oh my gosh, she looks so much better. She glowed up. Like, that's another thing. I was like, there's a lot of played out tropes within these episodes. But overall, I enjoyed seeing them older, and I wouldn't mind a series of them in college. Maybe season 3? Episode 8, Homeschool. I got a lot to say about this episode. Tiffany Haddish. First of all, I want to say Tiffany Haddish did an amazing job playing the teacher, Miss Hill, the rambunctious, obnoxious, mean-spirited, and just nasty teacher that's just like, but then come to find out, she's actually living in the teacher's lounge, and, end up having to live in her car after Dejanay, once again, rats her out. And I'm like, okay, I get that part in the theme of like homelessness and how teachers are underpaid for what they do. And that's another thing I want to talk about. I can make a whole nother video about this. Like, you're a teacher, teaching kids, educating kids. You get paid so little, but you know how to throw a football. You know how to catch a football. You know how to dodge a football. You know how to throw a basketball. You're getting paid millions a year, but that's a whole nother video. Let me not get sidetracked. I liked this episode for what it was, and then they had like the pop culture references, and they had like the, when she ordered from like Wiz Prime, which was a play of Amazon Prime, and she had the suit, she could change into different things. I like that part. And then even when she saw her dancing in the teacher lounge and all that stuff, I enjoyed it. But the thing I did not like was how they had Penny just come and move her into their house, right? And then they all just accepted it. How you gonna bring a teacher to live with your family, and then it's just like, okay, you just forced this teacher on her, and then they welcome you into their house, and you try to take over and start being mean and nasty and rude, and then you start like hitting Oscar with a ruler and having Trudy balancing books and doing all type of crazy shit, and even talking down to Sugar Mama, and it turns to find out she used to date Bobby back in high school or whatever. But it's like, that whole dynamic did not make sense. For as strong of characters as Trudy and Sugar Mama was, for them to just accept that, it didn't play into their character. That's why I say the writing was inconsistent, where it's like she just took over their household. That took me out of the episode. Like I said, there's a lot of certain elements that took me out the episode. I was like, no. You didn't feel happy for her getting this money because she was so fucking nasty and mean the whole episode. So when she won the money, it was like, okay, all right. Like, you didn't feel satisfied. The Proud Family was always great at like having those episodes where they wanted you to feel emotional for a character. You felt it. But with this, it was just like, damn, finally they got that bitch out the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was. Like, that was one of those shaky episodes where I feel like the writing could have been a little better, to where you felt sympathy for Miss Hill a little bit more. And then like for her to take over their whole house did not make sense. And for all of them to just play into it and not say anything, I was like, that could have did a little bit better writing on that part. The writing could have been a little better for that segment. Now going on to Zoe learning how to dance in Proud Family episode 5, right? Snackland, when she was in the group and she was dancing, Zoe was dancing real good. So now in this episode, she don't know how to dance. She don't have no rhythm. You see what I'm talking about with the inconsistency? Episode 5, she was dancing just fine with them. Now in this episode, she don't know how to dance. And I get it. This is for marching band, which is different. It requires different coordination. But one episode, she knows how to dance just fine. And then a few episodes later, she has no rhythm because it's like she's like the awkward, nerdy white girl. I mean, like I said, the played out tropes. And I get it, the movie don't even exist in this reboot. But y'all remember when Zoe was dancing with the peanuts and she was doing all that crunking and all that? Come on, they could have had it to where Zoe really fucked it up at the end, but they gave her a little do da 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 type of dance, and I'm like, yeah, I would have loved if they really had Zoe dance. That could have been another viral meme, whatever, like the original with the Proud Family movie. But it is what it is. Now we get into episode 9, Raging Bully, which was all about La Cienega having her quinceañera. And this is finally one of the episodes that wasn't so Penny and Oscar focused. I'm like, damn, they finally gave another character the most screen time, La Cienega, and it's about her quinceañera. And I'm like I said, I loved how they have all those cultural references. Even though it's a black cartoon, but they also have other cultures in depth involved with the show, and I love that about the quinceañera. And then La Cienega's cousin and aunt coming, and that dynamic between them, and Sunset, her mother, and the dynamic between those sisters and the cousins, and how they were jealous and all that. I liked it. I like how they had it to where like La Cienega shows sympathy in a way where it was like, but something with the end of the episode where she was stuck on a sugar mama ride and the cousin had to talk her down. Something about that was a little weird to me. Like, and speaking of the tired, played out tropes, like I talked about previously, with like Zoe and Michael and everything, like the whole trope of like, oh, the cousin got skinny, and everybody like, oh, you grew up, yo, you glowed up, what a glow up, oh my god, But then they had flashbacks of her like being more heavyweight. She had more weight to her. And she was just like the funny friend, ole, doing little funny stuff. The funny fat friend. She was the funny fat cousin. And he's just like, she's good for laughs, but nothing else. Like, she wasn't attractive. She was just good for laughs because, that's all she could be good for because she was big. Nobody was interested in her like that. She lost weight and all of a sudden it's, oh, you're attractive now. Oh, you glowed up. Oh, you glowed up now. Like, that's played out. Like, why does she have to lose weight to be considered attractive now? Like, oh, she glowed up, and for La Cienega to be jealous now. You see what I'm saying? Like, the Proud Family, sometimes they're progressive, but then sometimes they play into those old tropes that's like, really? In 2022? Now, in 2001, I got it, but in 2022, like, let's switch it up. You gotta switch it up, Now, going into episode 10, which was the season finale, Old Town Road Part 1, I'm like, I enjoyed it because it's like, oh, you get to see Sugar Mama's, history and her life. And I feel like Sugar Mama, she had enough screen time to where it wasn't like so much. She had just enough screen time. And this episode's about her family life. That's a really interesting thing to see. And, Oscar's a cowboy and all that. And just, it's the whole Western style for this episode. I liked it. Now, is this an episode I can see myself rewatching over and over again? No. But I liked it for what it was, and it gave each character time to shine. I like this. Trudy had a lot of lines, Penny, Oscar, Sugar Mama, and the different family members they met, and they had like a lot of pop culture references. If you watched the episode, And I like this episode for what it was. Is it one of my favorites? No, but I enjoyed it for what it was and for what it brings to the characters of Oscar and Sugar Mama, and learning their history and learning what made Sugar Mama leave them and why is the father the way he is, So yeah, I enjoyed the episode for what it was. That was my review of season 1 of the Proud Family reboot. My quick review of episodes 3 through 10, and I gotta say, I enjoyed the show. I'm excited for season 2. Once again, congratulations to everybody involved, and I'm just excited to see what else happens with other storylines. Hopefully they follow my advice, or the things I want to see for season 2. They show, give other characters besides Penny and Oscar more time to shine. Give us something new, give us something different. Keep those pop culture references and stop playing into the old tropes. And have more consistent writing and stop ending the episodes with such a rush. You know, like make the episodes more satisfactory, more satisfying, where it's like, I love how that ended, you know? But overall, I enjoyed the show and I give it an 8 out of 10. What did y'all like about the Proud Family reboot? What didn't y'all like about the Proud Family reboot? What are some of y'all critiques? What are some of y'all favorite things about it? And what were your favorite episodes of the Proud Family reboot? And what would y'all like to see for season 2? My favorite episodes were episode 2, Bad Influencer, episode 4, Father Figures, episode 5, Snackland, episode 6, Get In, episode 8, Homeschool, and episode 9, Raging Bully, which was basically, I enjoyed at least 5 to 6 out of the 10 episodes. Basically meaning like I rewatched them over and over again. Like, you know, when you get bored, you're like, let me watch this episode again. That's how I know I really enjoyed the episode. So over half the episodes I really enjoyed to rewatch them again. I say it was a great season. Could it have been better? Yes, but we got season 2, so let's see what they do with that. Now, please leave your comments and thoughts down below. What did y'all think about season 1 of the Proud Family reboot? And let's get this discussion started. I can't wait to read your comments and interact with y'all. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.